Farming is one of the most important jobs there is, but it is also one of the hardest. A farmer works long hours, puts in all of their love and energy. Many times, they're still at the mercy of nature. But with hard work and dedication, it can be a super rewarding occupation. Farmers live so far away from their neighbors that it's in some ways brings them closer together. They live apart, and this means that they need to make sure that they connect. After all, you never know when you need a helping hand. There are a lot of stories from all over the world of hardworking farmers and the things that drive them, or stories of farmers helping each other. So let's see some of these amazing stories. These are inspiring farmer stories you need to hear. Before we get started, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and to turn on the notifications. Then you will never miss a thing. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. Providing help to a new widow. When Bev Kingdon's husband, Randy, lost his life after an 8-year battle with prostate cancer, Bev not only had her big loss to deal with, but also the farm. And because he died just before the harvest, it was an incredibly difficult time. Randy was well known and loved in the small Illinois community where the couple called home. He was always helping others out, and his neighbors wanted to return this favor in his memory. So, when close neighbor and good family friend Ralph Peters asked for help to get the Kingdon harvest in, he was overwhelmed with the extraordinary response. When word got out, everyone wanted to help. People kept phoning Peters to ask what they could do and bring. Farmers arrived with 11 combines, 12 semis, and 14 auger wagons. In just 6 hours, they harvested all 400 acres of corn. There were around 60 people who worked the fields and made food for the volunteers. I think this must have been an incredible sight to see. Truly an amazing story of just how much can get done when people care about each other. A story of a young farm boy can teach valuable lessons. Ezra Taft Benson grew up on a farm in Whitney, Ohio. One early morning, he was off to a neighboring farm. He was only 16 years old at the time, but already had the work ethic any farmer kid learns from a young age. The farmer had hired Benson to work in a field of sugar beets. He looked over at the field, but it was still too dark to see it entirely. Then he had a strange thought. If I work as hard as I can, how much can I do in a day? He was truly curious about how much he could get done if he put all his energy and hard work. So, with the sun just peeking over the mountains, he set to work. He worked with all his might. Even when it became incredibly hot during the day, he stopped for very short times to eat and drink, and then he would continue on, working as hard as he could. He was so busy working that he didn't have time to track just how much work he was getting done. It was only when the farmer came to pay him at the end of the day that they both realized just how far he had come. The 16-year-old boy had thinned a full acre of beets in only one day, all on his own. And with only a short-handled hoe as his only machinery, he had achieved the unbelievable. The farmer paid him 2 silver dollars and 2 $5 coins. It was the most money Ezra has ever had. But the lesson he had taught himself that day was even more important and would stay with him forever. If you give your all and put in all your energy, you can achieve incredible things. And that is what he did. He served as a United States Secretary of Agriculture and worked hard to protect the rights that all farmers in America deserve. A great lesson for all of us. A farmer who focuses on mentoring women farmers in South Africa. Linda Zwane has his own livestock farm to run and take care of. He has enough to keep him busy, but he believes that agriculture is an important avenue for young black women to try out, that it could ensure them successful futures. So, instead of talking about that and convincing others that they need to help mentor these women, he invited 120 young girls to his farm to see how things really are and how it works. Out of those, around 40 became really interested in farming. And again, instead of feeling his job is done, he has continued mentoring these women and even helped them to get into the Buell Farmers Academy, where they could learn how to run a farm. The academy teaches everything from how to care for livestock or crops to how to look after the financial side of the farm. So it truly has set them up to be able to run a successful farm. But that isn't the end of the story. Mr. Zwane also helped them form a farming cooperative and apply to the Department of Rural Development for a farm that they can work on. The plan is for them to get land where they can work in groups of 7 to run the farm and use the land for a diverse number of products. And during it all, Linda Zwane will be there to help these women every step of the way, to do all he can to make sure that they have all the tools they need to become incredible farmers. That is truly an inspiring way to invest in the future generations of farmers. From salesman to businessman farmer. Arnel Molina was a salesman for an insurance company, but his heart wasn't really in it, and he wasn't making all that much money. So he decided to quit and to start farming, and to use the knowledge he had from being a salesman toward expanding the business side of his farming venture. It worked. and it is a really good example of how hard work and dedication can pay off. He started out checking the markets. Then he started producing all sorts of different products, from free-range chickens to pigs and much more. He checks to see what types of produce is selling for top dollar at any given time, and if one product won't make him money, he even uses these as feed for his animals instead. So he works hard, but he also works smart, and this has paid off. He's now considered rich and successful in his country. He says that he thinks he is successful because he's able to give his children everything they want or need. He can also buy luxury items like a car, and even go out to eat without worrying about how much it will cost him in the end. He believes that treating the people that work for you like family is just as important as working hard. If they love you and are loyal to you, then they will work even harder to take care of you. Lloyd Ratz showed that doing what you are passionate about can keep you young. Lloyd Ratz is an inspirational example of showing that when you do what you love, you never really have to work, even when you continue doing the job after your 100th birthday. In 2018, Lloyd Ratz was 103 years old and still working and innovating on his farm. We can't get any more recent news on him, so we don't know what he's doing today. But I can tell you his life is an inspiration to all of us. He loved farming, and he worked to farm during some of the most difficult times of America's history. He farmed right through the Great Depression and worked long hours without the modern machinery farmers have at their disposal today. But even after handing the reins of the day-to-day work of the farm over to his son, he still worked to improve farming. At the age of 98, he received a patent for a system that allows someone to open and close grain bins all the way from the ground. And even after that, you could always find him doing projects and creating things on the farm. He had an incredible life, with 2 amazing women that he loved and lost. His children and his creations keep him young and active. Even after going into triple digits age-wise, he is a remarkable man, and his story of farming is really inspiring. Another of the most remarkable and inspirational farmers in the world is Chris Cook. He's a hardworking farmer who has a love and passion for the land just like any other farmer. The only difference is that he was born without any arms or legs. This has not stopped him or slowed him down one bit, however. His parents raised him to be very self-sufficient, and just like they have raised any other child. He needed to learn and to adapt, and most of all, to have a great sense of humor even when things got tough. There are obviously some things that he can't do. He will never be able to swim, and he isn't allowed to drive a car, at least not legally. But the things he can do outweigh those completely. He has adapted in a way he works and found ways to get things done. He might do things a bit differently than other farmers would, but it doesn't stop him from getting the job done. He's able to look after the animals on the farm and even drive a tractor and combines. He might need some aides to help him with it, but with a little help, he will do pretty much everything that any other farmer would do. It takes more energy and focus for him to get around, but Chris is so full of energy and life that this isn't a big challenge. He is a strong person who accepts himself as he is, and that translates into a strong and inspiring human being. When he isn't farming, he's doing his project, If I Can, and giving motivational talks. These farmers all have 2 things in common: their love for farming and the way they inspire us. Thanks for watching.